Welcome. Let's look at the axillary lymph nodes. The axillary lymph nodes are a group of lymph nodes that are located within the axilla, and they tend to receive lymphs from regions around the axilla. Going through with this lecture, we'll see the different regions that the axillary lymph nodes will drain and also where they will drain into. What are the functions of the axillary lymph nodes? The axillary lymph nodes help to maintain body fluid level, and how it does this is by draining the fluid within the tissue, thereby preventing it from building up within the tissue. Because if the fluid builds up, it is going to affect the functions of the organs. They also present immune function, and they do this by destroying harmful substances that they come across. The axillary lymph nodes are scattered within the fibrous fatty tissue of the axilla. They are about 20 to 30 in number. They are scattered, but they are organized in specific fashion. And the names of the different axillary lymph nodes are given based on the relations that they have with the body. So we have the apical lymph nodes. This is the apical lymph node. This is located in the apex of the axilla. Then we have the central lymph nodes. This is the central lymph nodes that are centrally located. Then we have the anterior or the pectoral lymph nodes, which are located in the anterior region of the axilla. Then we have the posterior subscapular lymph nodes, which are located behind. Then we have the lateral lymph nodes, which are highlighted in black and are located in the lateral region of the axilla. So we can see that the different axillary lymph nodes are so named based on the position that they have with the body. Let's take each of the axillary lymph nodes and see where they're specifically located, where they drain, and also where they are drained into. For the anterior or the pectoral lymph node, we said that it is located in the anterior region of the axilla, and this is the anterior lymph node. They are located at the inferior border of the pectoralis minor muscle. This is the pectoralis minor muscle highlighted in purple, and you can see these lymph nodes located in the inferior border of this muscle, and they are also seen along the lateral thoracic artery. Remember when we talked about the axillary artery? If you have not checked out my lecture on the axillary artery, please kindly go and do so to upgrade your knowledge in this regard. We said that the axillary artery is divided into 3 regions. We have the first region, the second region, and also the third region. In the second region, we have an artery emerging from the upper border of the pectoralis minor muscle, which is termed the thoracoacromial artery. While inferior to the pectoralis minor muscle, we have the emergence of the lateral thoracic artery, and this is the lateral thoracic artery that is highlighted in blue. This artery emerges, and along this artery is where we have the anterior, the pectoral lymph nodes. You can see it located along the lateral thoracic artery and also at the inferior border of the pectoralis minor muscle. And it's so called the pectoral lymph node because it is located at the inferior border of the pectoralis minor muscle, and that is why it is so named as the pectoral lymph node. So you see it located along the lateral thoracic vessel, the lateral thoracic artery, and also the lateral thoracic vein, and are also seen located at the inferior border of the pectoralis minor muscle. Where they drain the anterior upper part of the trunk and also the major region of the breast. Because we know that they are located anteriorly, so they drain the anterior region of the upper part of the trunk. Then going to the second division is the posterior, the subscapular lymph nodes. This is the posterior, the subscapular lymph node. It is located in the posterior part of the axilla. And if we also go back to axillary artery, we have the emergence of the subscapular artery. This is the subscapular artery. The subscapular artery is the largest branch of the axillary artery. Also going back to our division of the axillary artery into the first, second, and the third region, we said that in the third region of the axillary artery, we have the emergence of the subscapular artery, which is the largest branch of the axillary artery. So it is along this subscapular artery or vein that we see the posterior or the subscapular lymph node. And it is so named the subscapular lymph node because it is located along the subscapular artery and also the subscapular vein. You can see that the anterior of the pectoral lymph node is located along the lateral thoracic vessel. We now have the posterior of the subscapular lymph node also located along the subscapular vessel. So we have the posterior or the subscapular lymph nodes highlighted in white, and we see it located along the subscapular artery and also the subscapular vein. Where it drains the posterior upper part of the trunk. Also remember that we said that the anterior, the pectoral lymph nodes drain the anterior upper part of the trunk. So the posterior upper part of the trunk is drained by the posterior, the subscapular lymph nodes. So while the posterior, the subscapular lymph nodes drain the posterior upper trunk, the anterior or the pectoral lymph nodes drain the anterior upper trunk region. So going to the next lymph node is the lateral lymph node. The lateral lymph node, we say, is laterally located. It is highlighted in black, and you see it around the upper part of the humerus. This is the lateral axillary lymph nodes, and where they drain is the arm region. Then going to the next one, we have the central axillary lymph nodes. The central axillary lymph nodes are centrally located, and this is where they are located in the central part of the axilla. They receive lymph from other axillary lymph nodes that we have highlighted. So they receive lymphs from the anterior or the pectoral lymph nodes. They also receive from the posterior, the subscapular lymph nodes, and they receive from the lateral axillary lymph nodes. So they receive from the anterior lymph node, the posterior lymph node, and also the lateral lymph node. So when they collect all these lymphs from these different regions, they now finally drain and empty it into the apical lymph nodes. So from the central lymph nodes, collecting the drainage from all the other lymph nodes within the axilla, they are finally drained into the apical axillary lymph node. So let's go to the apical axillary lymph node to see where they are located and also where they are finally drained into. So the next one is the apical or the subclavicular lymph node. It is called the subclavicular because it is located below the clavicle and also seen around the apex of the axilla. The apical axillary lymph node, apart from receiving lymphs from the central axillary lymph node, also receives lymphs from the upper part of the breast. And finally, they are drained into the subclavian lymph trunk on the right side, and on the left side, it drains into the thoracic duct. So that is how they are finally drained out of the axillary region. Then also, we can classify axillary lymph nodes based on their level. We have level 1, level 2, and also level 3. These are surgical levels of axillary lymph nodes. Level 1 are groups of axillary lymph nodes that are located below the pectoralis minor muscle. This is the pectoralis minor muscle highlighted in purple. So any group of lymph node that is seen below this region is termed the level 1 axillary lymph node. While the level 2 are a group of lymph nodes that are located behind the pectoralis minor muscle. Then we have the level 3, which are a group of lymph nodes located above the pectoralis minor muscle. For the level 1 axillary lymph nodes, we have the anterior axillary lymph nodes, we have the posterior axillary lymph nodes, and we have the lateral axillary lymph nodes. So for the level 2 that is located behind the pectoralis minor muscle, we have the central axillary lymph nodes. Then for the level 3 that is seen above the pectoralis minor muscle, we have the apical axillary lymph nodes. And we have seen how the pectoralis minor muscle is used to establish this. Then clinical anatomy or application. Breast cancer, we say, can spread to the axilla because of the close proximity that they have with the axilla, and also because of the fact that about 70% of the lymphatic drainage of the breast is drained into the axilla. So you can see that there's an established connection between the axillary region and also the breast. Let's say this is the breast and this is the axillary region. So there is an established connection between the breast and also the axillary region. So lymph from this region can drain into this, and also the spread of cancer can also spread. We have the sentinel lymph nodes. The sentinel lymph nodes are hypothetical lymph nodes that are located close to the breast. These are the sentinel lymph nodes, and this is the axillary lymph node. So between the axillary lymph nodes and the breast, we have a group of lymph nodes that are called the sentinel lymph nodes. They are positioned close to the breast, and this can be used to establish the spread of breast cancer. The biopsy procedure of these sentinel lymph nodes, if done, can be used to establish whether breast cancer has spread from the breast region down to the axilla. And it is done by identifying this group of lymph nodes, removing them, and also examining them of cancer. So when we have the injection of a radioactive tracer into the region that is close to the tumor, and blue expression is seen, this blue expressed region of lymph nodes are extracted and are tested for cancer. If the test is positive, it means that there is a spread of the cancer within this breast region to the axilla, because this is like a guide or an interface between the breast and the axilla. So if it is positive here, it means these are also going to be positive. It means there is an established spread of cancer between the breast and also the axilla. But when it is negative of cancer, it means that cancer is not seen in the extracted sentinel lymph node. And if this is negative, it means this is also going to be negative. It means that there is no spread of cancer between the breast region to the axilla. So this is like an application that is used to establish the spread of breast cancer to the axillary region and also other regions around the breast. So this is a very good clinical tool that is used to establish that. So thanks for watching. Let's meet again.